Okay. Today, guys, I'm going to teach you how to basically do kind of a stop motion draw on animation in After Effects. So, just so you know, basically what I'm going to attempt to teach you, this is basically a video I got asked to do at work, and I hadn't really done anything like it before, so with a little experimentation in about a little under an hour, I came up with this here. Okay, so now that you know what we're doing, you can either stick around or go find another video that matches what you're hoping to watch. Okay, so basically what we're going to start out with doing is creating a new composition, which is just Command N, and I'm just going to keep it 720p because it doesn't really matter to me whether it's 1080 or not. Probably make it like 15 seconds. I'm not going to do everything you just saw, but I'm going to show you most of it. Okay, so the first thing you need to know how to do is kind of how to draw on those letters and the shapes. So we'll start with the letters. The way that I drew on the animation for those is I just typed in whatever I wanted. Whatever you want to type in, just type it in using the text tool. Okay, so you got your text, and you know, move it to wherever you want it, and the size. And once you have this text, obviously right now it's just one big thing. The words aren't individualized, or the letters aren't individualized. The words aren't either, but the way you do that is you go up here to Layer, and you first you have to select the text. Then you go to Layer and Create Masks from Text. And that's going to break all of these up individually so that you can kind of do animations to them individually if you want to. So we're going to turn off these masks so you can actually see the text and what's going to happen next. So to turn off your mask paths, or basically just so you can see or not see your mask paths, you can click this button here. And then you'll go to Effects and Presets, and what I used for this was the stroke effect. And the first thing you need to do when you get the stroke effect is change the painting style from on original image to on transparent. Okay, and you can see now you have the outline of this letter H. But it's not doing anything else, you just have that outline. Obviously you want the rest of them to show up. So you go up here to stroke and click on all masks, and now you see you have everything. And eventually this will be drawn on sequentially, so I'll show you how to do that. Basically what you're going to do here is you're going to go to your start point. Actually, we'll go to our end because I want it to go from left to right. So we'll start with our end, and you can see if I slowly do this that it's going from right to left, or left to right. So you click the stopwatch there for end at 0, and then you'll hit U on your keyboard. What U does is bring up all the keyframes that you've set so far. So let's say we want this to draw on in 3 seconds. So we'll go back up here to end, draw it on to 100%, and now you have this animation. If we hit 0, Oh, I don't want to do it. There we go. Now you have this animation of the text drawing on, which is nice. If you wanted it to all draw on at the same time for one reason or the other, all you have to do is take off this, or uncheck this box that says stroke sequentially, and then everything is going to come on at the exact same time, like that. But I wanted to draw on sequentially, so we're going to leave it that way. Another thing that's good to do, especially in these cases, is to change this to an easy ease in. Change your keyframe. Basically what that does is kind of make the animation feel a little more natural by slowing it down near the end. You can kind of see what it does here in the graph editor. Basically it goes fast here at a constant pace, and then it slows down here, so you get a little bit more natural feeling. Okay, so the next part we're going to go to is we've got this text drawing itself on. What we need to do is color it in now. So I don't know if this is the best way to do it. I can't advise to say that this is definitely the best way to do it, but this is the way that I found easiest to do it for me, and it worked. So I'm going to show you how I got it done. Basically, what I did here is I created a new layer. You can either go to Layer, New Layer up here at the top, or you can just press Command Y, and you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to name it Fill. And then for this fill, basically what I did is I pre-comped it by right-clicking and doing Pre-Compose on that layer. And I just left it fill. Doesn't really matter what you do. And then you go into this composition, which will just have your solid, and then you double click on your solid. And then what I did to get this filling in of the text done is I took the brush tool, and this brush size will work. If it doesn't work, if it's too big for you, you can just hold Command and drag, and it'll make your brush either bigger or smaller. And then I changed the color here to, well, it doesn't really, I don't know what I use, but you can change it to whatever color you want. I'll change it to gold, and make sure that your I always forget the name of this. Basically, your time marker is back here at 0 frames, so that this, what you're about to do, your effect that you're about to do, starts at 0 frames, and you don't have to go fix that later. Anyway, so what you'll do is you'll just basically draw it in as if you are coloring in this layer. So you basically just go like this. This mouse being difficult. Okay, so now you have it pretty much colored in. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, sometimes it's kind of cool if you leave a few streaks every once in a while. Makes the color look a little better. But now what you'll have, if you press E on your keyboard, so you have to make sure you highlight this layer, hit E on the keyboard, then you'll see you have the paint effect. And what you can do here is drop down till you get to your stroke options, and what you're going to do is start this. Basically, you're going to animate this endpoint. You're going to start it at 0, and you know, we'll stick with. We'll go to 2 seconds, and in 2 seconds, this is going to fill up. Okay, so now you have your fill, and you're kind of drawing it in, and it looks like somebody's coloring it. So basically, when you get back here, you're going to have this giant mess. So to contain this giant mess here, basically what you do is you just click on M, or you click on your masks layer here, you push the M button, and then you highlight all your masks, you hit Command C, to copy all your masks, and then you hit Command V to put all your masks onto that layer of drawn in stuff. And we'll want to wait a couple seconds for this to come in. So we'll maybe start this drawing in animation here. And now what you have, if you take a look at it, is that drawn on. And you know, right now it is a little fast. Obviously it comes in really quick. The problem is that my brush size whenever I did that was just, it was too thick, I guess. It was too big of a in circumference, so I would just need to basically go back here, make my brush size smaller, and redo the paint. But you guys get the general idea. That's how I drew it on. That's how it will work. It will work just as well if you do it. So basically that's how I animated this kind of motion. And the other thing I did, I don't know if you noticed, they asked me to simulate stop motion for the text and the animation. So basically what I use for that is I just use Posterized Time, that effect. Basically what it does is allows you to kind of cut the keyframes to what you want them to be. So basically it starts to look like stop motion once you hit 12 frames a second. And I just applied that to every layer, and you can kind of see it start to happen. It's a little blockier and takes a little more time to come in. You miss pieces of it. It looks more rough, like someone actually drew it on. Okay, so the other thing I did was make an arrow kind of bar graph, but that's essentially the exact same process. The other thing I'll show you, just so you know how to do it, that I thought was helpful to this was basically how to take a picture, make an outline of it, and draw it in. So I'll do that with this picture here. It's the same picture I used before. I forgot to make it a PNG, so I'll take it into After Effects and show you how to set it up for Illustrator. So most of the pictures you're ever going to receive from anyone, especially clients, I feel like, are JPEGs because that's what they're all comfortable with, and so that's what you're going to get. And the problem with that is you don't just have this guy, you have this guy plus this white background, and nobody wants that white background. So basically once you get your picture open in Photoshop, you're going to come over here to this eraser tool, and it's probably just going to be our regular eraser tool. And what you're going to want to do is choose Magic Eraser tool, come over here to him, and delete all this white that you don't want. Okay. And once you have all that white gone, basically what you're going to do is you're going to save this as a PNG. So you just do save as PNG. You can save it to your desktop, wherever, it doesn't matter as long as you can find it. Get rid of Photoshop. And now you have this PNG that you can open up in Illustrator. And Illustrator will take its time, like always. Okay, so now you've got this guy in Illustrator, and what you're going to want to do here is trace that image so that you can get a whole bunch of masks that you can use stroke to draw on those masks with in After Effects. So basically what you're going to do is go over here to Image Trace, click on High Fidelity Photo, and it's going to figure its stuff out. And as long as this image still looks like the original image, then that means that the tracing was more or less successful. Maybe not perfect, but pretty much successful. If this image comes out looking weird or choppy or messed up, then you're going to have to go back to that. Basically, you're going to have to hit Command Z and go back and try to retrace it a different way. But for this particular image, the shapes are really nice and easy for it to calculate, and it came out really well. So once you figure out how you're tracing and you get that all worked out, then you just hit Expand, and you'll see you have all of these paths, all these masks here, which is great. So you'll drop this down, drop down the groups, and you see all of the masks the Illustrator made for us. So the first thing you're going to do, I find this happens every single time. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. You let me know if I am. Every single time I trace an image, no matter whether it's a PNG or not, I always get these two layers down here at the bottom, which are basically the square. I don't want the square. You don't want the square, or else you're going to have some random thing trace in that isn't your picture. So just highlight both of those and hit this trash button and delete it. And you can see there's still a square here, but it's not actually a path anymore. It's just you have this group selected. So it'll give you that square around it so that you can rotate them all at the same time. So basically what we're going to do now is grab all of these masks. You're going to hit Command C to copy them. And then we're going to make our way back to After Effects. Make a new layer. Call it Tiger or whatever you are tracing. And then we're going to copy them in, and hopefully oh, the spinny wheel. There it is. There he is. There's Truman, the tiger. So actually, I will leave the composition background black and do Command. We'll change this layer setting so that you can see him. Make him white. Maybe not all white. Maybe like yellow. He's supposed to be gold. Okay. So now you can see you got Truman here. You got your words drawing in. So I'll scale Truman down. Have him sit on top of the words. Okay, so you got him in here. And if you want Truman to draw on, basically you just do exactly the same thing. You take a stroke. Make sure that it's on all masks for this especially. And do on transparent. And now you have an outline of your picture, whatever that might be. And you'll animate it the exact same way. You'll just do, you start your endpoint here. Actually, I probably want to start it at like 215-ish. And draw him on, so I'll give him a couple of seconds to draw on. And if we take a look at it, there he goes. Okay, so you have him drawing on. And to color him in, you do the exact same thing that I showed you for the fill. What you'll have to do, and the reason I'm not doing this is because it took me a bit of time. What you'll have to do is, for this Illustrator file, you'll have to single out the masks for the different colors. So like, for instance, all of this stuff on the inside was yellow for little Truman here. And so I had to single out those masks that were yellow, and I had to single out the masks that were white, and then draw them in. accordingly. So it will take you a little bit of time, but it's the exact same process. There's just way more masks to deal with. And so as long as you're willing to put in that time to draw it in, then it will look just as good as you've seen. And as far as the other, the arrow thing that I made, there's nothing really special about it. I'll show you how I did it just so you see, so it's easier for you to conceptualize. Basically, all I did was do layer, new, solid, doesn't matter what color, and I just drew an arrow, which might be hard because my mouse is just really effing up. So basically I just drew an arrow, and it doesn't have to be perfect your first time because this is a mask and you can go back and change your mask as many times as you want to until it looks beautiful. And obviously this arrow looks like trash, but that's all I did. I just made that arrow, put a stroke effect on it just like the other things, and then colored it in just as I showed you with the text. And that is all there is to it. It's very simple. If you want it to look like stop motion animation, remember to use this Posterized Time effect. It works very well. And that's it. And if you have any questions, if you feel like I left something out, just let me know. I'll be happy to make a little short video discussing it to try and help you out with whatever it is that I've left out here. So anyway, I hope this was helpful, and hopefully help someone get a project done somewhere. Oh, that just reminded me really quickly before I leave. I had this problem and I forgot to address it. As you can see right there, this text becomes black. Okay, it's very important that you do this. In the fill area, I'm sorry that I'm doing this so late. I hope that you all watch till the very end. I'll put a little annotation or something. Here, make sure that this is actually an adjustment layer. Now, all you have to do to turn a regular layer into an adjustment layer is just go here and click this button. All it means is that you're turning it into an adjustment layer, which basically means that this is transparent, so that whenever you get back here to your composition, you don't have that random black fill moment that just drops in. Now it draws on, and the only thing you can see is the effects that you've applied to it. Okay, now I'm done. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully somebody helped somebody by addressing that issue there at the very end. Anyway, I'll make another tutorial pretty soon, actually in the next day or two since I have some time, and I'll see you all later.